So, about a year ago, I went on a holiday to Croatia with a bunch of friends. Um, and, they have family there, like, they have Croatian family. They're half Croatian, half Dutch. So, we just went to we rented an apartment, which is close to, like, their relatives, like their grandma and their cousins and stuff. Yeah, okay, so we got there, right, and they told me about their cousins. They were like, oh yeah, maybe you can hook up with them, which is usually bullshit in my ears. But she was really pretty when I first saw her. But she came with her boyfriend, so I was like, okay, that's no limits for me. Like, she might be really pretty, so just avoid looking at her or whatever, just don't fall for her. Easy, right? But like, we stayed there for 2 weeks, and pretty much every day, like, we just went out and did stuff. We went to swim, like, went out to bars, just drank all day. She'd pretty much be there all the time, and I don't know, like, she has this kind of way of expressing herself and all her crazy ass ideas just openly without, like, any inhibitions. It seems she's just telling everyone about all these, like, weird abstract thoughts that she's having, but nobody really reciprocated them, and neither did I, because I was like, she seems really cool, but I can't, like, fall for her or whatever, so I try to not say anything to her, but she'd always end up, like, standing next to me, talking to me, telling all this shit to me, and I would understand it, but I didn't show her that. She would just, like, be next to me, and end up next to me, I mean, somehow, right? So I was trying to not fall for her or whatever, but at one point she said something about, she compared, like, family psychology, like how parents and their children, how they, like, go through their lives. She compared it to the waves in the sea, which is something I've written about like 4 years ago, like exactly that. And that was just like, I don't know, it hit me really hard. I wanted to be like, oh my, like, you're thinking the exact same shit as I was thinking like 3 years ago. Like, I wanted to talk about it, but I couldn't, and like, that moment passed, and afterwards I was just like fuck, like, why can't I fall for this girl? Like, why is this happening? This girl's really cool. I could talk to her. Why didn't I just do that? All these thoughts back and forth, blah blah blah. And like, a couple of days before we left, like the last week or so, my friends, they all went off to Slovenia or whatever, like a bordering country, Croatia. And I was like, I don't really want to go, guys. Like, I was feeling down on myself, like, fucking, pounding on myself and shit. But so I didn't want to go, and I stayed behind in the apartment. So I spent 3 days alone there. The first day that was like the day of reflection of, like, all the shit that happened with the girl and shit. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this time to figure out like what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, like, correctly before I leave. It's only a couple of days before we leave back to Holland again. I reflected, and I realized that I was still blaming the world for all kinds of shit. All kinds of problems that I have. I was just blaming the world, like, all the environment that I grew up in, the people that I meet, like, limitations, viewing them as limitations to me rather than, just what they are, just people and just the world. And I kind of realized that, and that really got me down on myself. I was like, fuck, like, what kind of person am I? I'm just blaming everyone and everything else. And, this girl didn't even matter to me anymore at this point. I was just so, I don't know, that was, like, a really vulnerable time, but it was necessary in a sense. It was good, like, in a sense. I felt like it was a good kind of sadness or self-consciousness. No, not, it wasn't self-loathing, but it was
Self-awareness?
self-awareness. Yeah. It was like a biting kind of self-awareness, but it was, it was genuine. It was necessary. And I was like, I have this now. This is like the next stage. I'm glad that I got here or whatever, but it sucks, like, realizing this about yourself. And then, another day passed, and then the day after that, the last day that I had the apartment to myself, before my friends would come back. Some like family member at around 6 in the evening, they like called me up and they're like, hey, like Anna, the girl, she's been sitting here. She wants to go out. Like there's nobody else in town, so you want to go out with her? I was like, yeah, sure. I was like off in the distance, like thinking about all this shit about myself. I didn't even really think of anything of it. It's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna not be able to talk to her or whatever, or it's just the same shit that's been going on before. I expected that, but she was really like glad to talk to someone because she'd been locked up in a room for 3 days as well, which is kind of similar to my situation that in the short term there. But like right off the bat, right when we just like left her house, she started talking about this really dark and weird dream about a masquerade or something, and yeah, I don't know. That just set off the whole night. The rest of the night, we just started talking. We talked for hours. We talked about her boyfriend. We talked about philosophy. Talked about psychology. Pretty much got to talk about everything that I felt like talking about with her up until that point. And near the end, well, I guess not the end of the night, but around 12 o'clock or something, some Croatian people, they walked past us. We were sitting in the sand, drinking beer. And they came up to her and they were asking her something in Croatian. And apparently, like afterwards, I asked her what they asked, and apparently they were asking her if she knew like a dealer around like in the area, and she didn't. It's like hard to get weed or something around there. And she casually like asked, like, by the way, like, do you guys still have weed? And I said, yeah, I have a little bit, but I was saving it for the guys when they come back, because it was like our weed, for the holiday there. And then like her face just like lit up completely. She showed this massive grin, and she's like, can we go smoke that? And I was like, yeah, but the guys, and besides, it's like a 30-minute walk uphill. You don't want to do that. And she's like, no, I don't give a shit. Like, I want to do that. I was like, whoa, this enthusiasm about weed. Yeah, I can't say no to that. But so we walked uphill. We talked more, and she rolled a joint, and I had to walk her down again because she got lost in her hometown. I didn't even understand that. I didn't even know if she really did get lost, but I had to walk her down for a bit. She felt scared in the dark while high and stuff. We were telling scary stories as well. And I don't know, when we were walking downhill, she's sort of like grabbing onto my arm at times. She's like, oh shit, like whenever I'm high and in the dark, I see these figures in the dark. I don't know why. Like my brain sees these things and I think they're real. And she grabbed onto me and stuff. Like I'm laughing. We were making jokes. It's a nice vibe. All of a sudden, like halfway down the hill that we had to go, it started raining a little, and we were just I was just in my t-shirt and flip-flops. In 5 minutes time though, it was just like a complete storm pretty much. Thunder up above us and shit like that, so we had to find a place to kind of hide under. So we found this little tree, and we just stood there like laughing pretty much. I didn't even mind the rain. I was soaking wet, but I didn't even notice that or anything. We were having fun, like the both of us, and we were standing under this tree kind of huddled up facing each other, and that was like the most perfect moment to kiss someone, I feel. I don't know, I've never experienced like a moment or whatever to kiss someone, but if I would ever like pick a moment, like that would be it, like right there, like us like looking each other in the eyes, and the whole night and everything. Yeah, that would have been it, but I didn't kiss her. But I mean, that's like my whole principle. Like I don't kiss anybody or do anything with anybody who has a boyfriend. And we had been talking about a relationship, she was really like messed up about it, and maybe it would have fucked it up even more. But honestly, I didn't need the kiss. Like if I had kissed her, it would have been a different night, I feel. And I was already so grateful for getting to experience that. Like I was feeling down on myself, and yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it, I guess. Yeah.
So what's the moral of the story?
What's the moral of the story? Don't limit yourself, I would say. Which sounds very vague and broad, but like in more practical sense, I guess it would be telling yourself not to do shit even though you might as well just do it.
Okay.
Which is also vague, but
So do you regret not kissing her?
no, I don't.